Hello and welcome to Unlocking the Treasure. We're four real Freemasons who are coming to you to discuss the real Masonic mysteries and symbols in the Disney Plus series National Treasure: Edge of History. All right. My name is Jason Richards. I'm here with John Ruark and Robert Johnson. We took a couple weeks off from TMR, but we're back here with you tonight to discuss episodes 2 and 3 of National Treasure: The Edge of History. It's nice to see you guys. Oh, I
So,
should probably unmute you.
yes, it's good to see you
Why
as
don't you
always,
start
Jason.
again?
Yes, that's all. It's good to see you as well, Robert.
Yeah, you guys also took that week off. No TMR, but glad to be with you guys here to talk about the exciting developments in episode 2 and 3.
Mhm. Yeah, so yeah, if you haven't seen the episodes, spoilers ahead, as always. But we're here to look at what are the Freemasons up to regarding this series. So yeah, let's jump right into it. Episode 2. What did you think? Episode 1 was up to a rough start. What did you think of episode 2?
I feel like episode 2 was more of the same. Um, it's just
You guys
very
are rough. You guys are harsh critics.
it's very Disney in the sense that like I've likened it to National Treasure meets Hannah Montana without any musical numbers.
It's not
I'm
that
thankful for
bad.
the latter, but
I think what okay, so episode 2 we we basically rescued a dude, and we had to make that weird exchange that is almost it's really not unlike National Treasure, the first movie, right? When they have to meet up, and he's got the Declaration of Independence in the tube, and he's got a switch in the public place. So there's this really interesting thing there. um, so they're really kind of hitting on some of the more iconic scenes and feels of the
Right.
show. But I do have to agree on a couple things. Number one, when we did the show on the uh, the lost, yeah,
Symbol.
symbol.
the lost symbol, Jesus. Well, we did the lost symbol show, the found symbol. What was really cool, I think we got through it. We had a lot to talk about there, but we also had these same gripes, and that was aside from a few like seasoned actors. Almost everybody was pretty fresh, pretty green. Hadn't seen them before in anything else, and I felt kind of the same way about that. It felt a little, um, like Jason says, Disney. My kids watch all kinds of really cool Disney shows, obviously. Um, like the acting feels mm, just
Yeah.
it's act better than I do, right? It's just like it's not the
Right.
same as say whatever is what we would expect in the film. But if you guys
Mhm.
notice, right, the executive producer is still Jerry Bruckheimer, so that's cool, right? He's got a little probably say
Mhm.
so in what happens, but
If
yeah,
nothing else, like Catherine Zeta-Jones is having a lot of fun being the
Yes.
bad guy.
yeah,
Like
hmm
Mhm.
that comes across clear as day.
Mhm.
yeah. I enjoyed the like the puzzle unlocking sequence that they did, right? She finds the puzzle box, the constant
Mhm.
throwbacks to I can't I always want to say Sandusky, like Sandusky, Ohio.
Ohio.
um yeah,
Mhm.
but the constant throwback to the FBI agent. You get some weird vibes from so all right, the team, they go to the FBI to report this kidnapping.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And a girl has to go take an anonymous tip. And you kind of get the feeling like she's, the best boy, having to go get the coffees and whatever, right? She's
Mm-hmm.
new, she's fresh fish at the FBI, and she has to take this anonymous tip. And she thinks that she's getting, played on or whatever.
Getting pranked. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I guess, moving through that whole sequence, it was really cool, whatever. I didn't know what to make of it, but I got the creepiest vibe from her boss. The guy who's like, "Did you order a talk screen? Why'd you?" But that's in episodes later. But just, I get a
He
weird
gets
vibe
there.
from him.
Well, you find out that he was the FBI agent back in the first National Treasure movie
See, I didn't realize
who,
that.
yeah, who didn't think that the threat against the Declaration of Independence was credible. So he makes that admission. We're
Gotcha.
like, oh
Yeah.
man.
So it makes you almost wonder, like, how connected he is to the story. What does he know? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
he's involved in the mysterious death of our famed FBI agent who foiled the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you guys think of the puzzle box sequence where she was unlocking it?
So yeah, that was. I always find I'm also always a little critical of when they're trying to show progression of figuring out clues, right? Because it's either like too silly or too obvious, right? And that those are only the two ways that you really see the person either like come up with this weird tangent that would never be a real clue in real life, but it's like, oh, it happens to be this one scratch on the guy's paint in his house that actually solved the puzzle. Like, or they get it first time, right? And so there she is riding a bus holding this cube, and immediately she's like, well, it's got to be this. Boom, first combination. Like, have you ever opened a combination lock even when you knew the combination first time? Right? And so that happened a little too easy for her. So
Yeah, John,
that's interesting.
if you go to slide 7, we've got a
Hmm.
close up of the puzzle box, part of the puzzle box lid
Yeah,
we can throw up
so
there.
there we go. So let's talk about that, because we get right to the first Masonic reference that she says, because, well, obviously the Freemasons were behind this, so Freemasons,
Right.
they love their all-seeing eye. So she quotes that right away. Those guys are all about the all-seeing eye. That's what she says.
Are we though?
Even though, are we though?
Eh,
Can you name a Masonic lodge without an all-seeing eye
No, I can't.
hanging
Acacia.
Sorry.
somewhere in the furniture? Yeah, I don't know. So maybe we are.
The thing with this puzzle box, that the whole thing that was ridiculous to me was, like, it's not ridiculous to think about symbols and going into a story and how she kind of put this together, but it was, I expected, like, the backpack to come to life and the map to come out and sing about how he's the map. And you, do you get where I'm coming here?
I'm the
Where I'm
map,
going?
I'm the map,
It was a
I'm the
little,
map,
it was
I'm
a
the
little
map.
Dora Explorer for me.
I can see
I
that
I
now
was
that you
like,
say that.
what weird tale did you hear that you see these symbols that you're putting it all together like this? But I mean, obviously, they had to get her there somehow. I thought it could have been better, but
there was
we
one
are
other
dealing
gripe
with,
I had
yeah,
with the puzzle box. She figured out that it had to orient north in order to unlock.
yeah. Why? Like, if it was all Masons,
Masons
why not east?
Masons have a particular affinity to east as a
Right.
cardinal direction, not north. The east is where the master presides over the lodge. It has some biblical references to King Solomon's temple with that particular cardinal direction as well. Like, why north? If anything,
Hmm?
north is
Yeah.
like the one cardinal direction we don't care about.
That is true. A place of darkness, usually in a Masonic lodge,
Yes,
symbolically.
symbolically, yes. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
standing
and of
joke
course
If
she's
you
fine.
with Freemasons that you, if you want to cause trouble, you go sit in the north of the lodge.
Go sit in the
it
corner.
was kind of it is interesting though, like some of those symbols we see and it's like, okay, those are obviously like these bars with the dots. I know there's
Mm-hmm.
accounting systems. um,
Mm-hmm.
and I know some of these other symbols obviously look somewhat Mayan, but they're dealing with like this trinity of
Right.
cultures, right? They're dealing with the Incans, the Aztecs, and the Mayans, who they said never had contact or whatever. But there's this whole conspiracy that they, in fact, did come together to hide an immense treasure from the conquistadors. But what is interesting is like these three levels. The furthest out level, all the way to the right, that almost looks like Mercury, doesn't it?
Yes, and so had I had I had the wherewithal to screen grab the entire top of the box, you can see the outer ring actually has a bunch of alchemical symbols in it. And the one
Wild.
right above the single dot is the circumpunct,
Get
which
out.
they
Okay.
allude to as being emblematical of the sun.
Of the sun.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Right. Or the all-seeing eye, right? So there you go.
Or the
Because she lines
all-seeing
up the
eye. Yeah,
one
that's fair.
and the hare or the
Or the
rabbit,
phallus.
and
But
then
this is a
they
Disney
align
Plus
that,
Plutonian
show.
lingam.
and then they align that to the actual pictograph, which is one of the actual first ones up at the top about hiding in the reeds. Is that it?
Yeah, what was it?
Or is
Like a
this the?
rabbit hides in the reeds or something when
Yeah, it
it's
was really
raining?
strange.
Like,
Yeah, or the sun's too bright. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, like the whole idea of the story was interesting. Like, I think this show actually hits on a lot of really cool elements that maybe we as North American Westerners might not appreciate. And like culturally, we see a very diverse cast. We see atypical situations that we have, a lot of things that are going on in the background, and even joke by the main character who says something and then he goes, "I'm just kidding, don't cancel me." It was I had a good laugh, but like the diversity of the show is really good, but also in the storytelling of this show, there are these ideas of like the way the puzzles are. And do you guys remember when Juan Sepulveda, for everybody who's new, when Juan would say something, he would give us like a saying in Spanish that would almost
Mm-hmm.
sound like,
Yes.
I'm not really sure what that's supposed to mean, but he would explain it. We'd be like, oh. And so some of those like kind of those cultural differences maybe are in the way they're showing these allegories of a story, and how the language actually with the characters tells a story, that kind of thing. And I'm interested in that too. I hope we see more of that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because there are, what I like about this, as I said last time, was the historical fiction. Right, there's some things that are based in reality that they just take that extra jumping off point to go into. So then, while we're getting the video feed queued up, the interesting thing that I found too was she figured out this puzzle and goes in to um, Sandusky's house and immediately knows how. Not only is she breaking and entering, which is also a weird thing to do, especially if you're trying to fly under the radar and eventually be an FBI agent one day, but um, then she actually goes, hits the right combination of books, and in this secret bookshelf, and the big secret that pops out, this thing that's well protected and hidden, is a case holding his Masonic ring. Right? It's
Yes.
it's fascinating that, like, it's not, I'm not storing my Masonic ring in like some elaborate bookshelf thing. You can get these things off of Amazon for like $20, but some people have nice ones, but the the Masonic ring being hidden in a secret compartment was kind of funny. So if you're not familiar with the Freemasons, yes, most of them buy their own rings, but no, they're not something that has to be stored away under a lock and key or a hidden vault for that.
It was kind of cool, like that she did that from like memory or something. Uh, but then we're introduced to the the I guess the beneficiary of the Sadusky estate, which is the grandson, who is like this aspiring, musician, and he thinks it's all hooey. Uh, and
He
this is kind of
purports that it's all
interesting,
hooey.
right? Yeah, and then it's like all of a sudden he is not unlike another throwback to National Treasure, part 1 or 2. Take your pick. But Nick Cage's dad, how he is like, oh, the treasure, I searched my whole life for it, and he doesn't like talk about it, and then all of a sudden it's revealed that there's this another family of treasure hunters, and it's the grandfather and then the musician's dad, who you later find out tragically passes away, uh, you know holding one of these treasure boxes or something. um, and then later unlocks with the bookshelf again where she find the Masonic ring. He's like, oh, well, check this out. And then we get the big cool room, hidden rooms aplenty.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
But where are you, John?
So, boom,
There you are.
there I
There
am.
you are.
So that's about it. Those were like the big Masonic references really in the episode 2. A little light, just talking about those guys are all about the all-seeing eye and hiding a Masonic ring inside of a bookshelf. So that was a little, I don't know, just a light nod to the Masons. So then let's
There
you
are
want to switch
3
over?
puzzle boxes, though. There's 3 puzzle
There are
boxes. You got
3.
to have the Masonic 3, right?
Gotta have
Yes.
3.
The
Mm-hmm.
triad. Yes.
And
Yeah.
does she find it?
Comedy
She find
comes
the
in
second one
threes.
at the end of
Yeah.
episode 2 or episode 3? Does she find the second one?
Yeah. At the end of episode 3, Catherine Zeta-Jones's character is revealed to have found the jade one.
That's right. Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
And
episode 3 then.
at the end of episode 3, Catherine Zeta-Jones is shown to have found the clue that
Yes.
Jess and I think his name is Liam had just uncovered from Graceland.
Nice. So
But
let's
we're
ship
getting ahead of
to episode
ourselves.
3 then. Yes, we are. All
Yes.
right. So we talk about episode 3. They're starting off, and you get a reference early on to the Sun King. So my mind is immediately going to like Louis XIV out of France,
Mm.
who I can't remember, was Louis XIV a Freemason or not? I don't believe he was.
Do not believe so.
Right. But of course that then inspired all the things about the French Revolution and how the Masons were behind all that. But shortly after we find out that it's not Louis XIV, but it's obviously Elvis and Richard Nixon. Why?
With the Masonic handshake. I can't believe you guys didn't know this.
All right, here we go. We're going to show you a secret Masonic handshake. There it is, right there.
But
It's the famous
it looks
photo
just like a
of
regular
Nixon.
handshake.
No. It's
This
totally a
kid,
Masonic handshake.
this
Totally.
kid is Riley Poole if you order it from Wish.
Yes. Let's see. Look, it's totally Masonic handshake. So therefore, Elvis and Nixon are Masons according to the show. But yeah, this obviously, spoiler alert, the real truth is neither of them were Freemasons. But Nixon was a member of what, Jason? Remember you had said you looked up a fraternal order that Richard Nixon was a
Yes.
member of. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so Nixon was an order or was a member of the Order of Red Friars, which was a semi-secret society at Duke University. Um,
So there you go.
the order voluntarily disbanded in 1971. It was out of Duke University, founded in 1913, but it's not known what Nixon did as part of that order, um, but we have no evidence that he was an actual Freemason.
Mm-hmm. Right. So this is
Same with, by the way, Elvis. Um, there have been a couple references that I've come across that suggest that Elvis had at least read about the Freemasons, but he is not known to have been a member himself.
now the parts that were interesting is that it was true that he was part Cherokee and that there is an actual secret room inside of Graceland. I think like 1996, like Oprah, went in there, and you can actually find the of Oprah um, going into the secret room for all of like 5 minutes of TV. They build it up for an hour, but it's only like 5 minutes of video. Um,
Yeah, it's like when
so that does
Geraldo
exist.
cracked
Yes.
the
Whose
safe
vault was that?
from Capone's.
Yeah.
It was like nothing was in it. Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Uh,
Womp womp.
it was interesting, right? So this starts to get obviously the entire series we're building up into this Native American lore of
Hmm.
this treasure and them hiding it from the conquistadors. Uh, but what's interesting too is we see the same parallel in National Treasure 2, where we've got this massive treasure, the city of gold that's hidden under the Black Mountains, and they deal with the symbol of the bird, right? And this carries over into this series coming up because it's Elvis's his grandmother or great grandmother
Hmm.
who ends up being this the dove, this it gets them on this clue to the dove to look for the dove, and they're like, oh, where's it going to be? And then of course they do the whole Jeff Goldblum thing where she loosely starts connecting things that are obvious to her,
Hmm.
but the
Right.
rest of us are too stupid. Um, and
But
obviously, they got to
they
go to
don't get
Grace.
it right the first time.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
In
true.
this case, they don't get it right the first time. They think it's the guitar, the
Hmm.
Raven, um, and it's not. They end up going out, and then they have to sneak back in because it's actually a gold record down in that secret room.
Now, I will
Y'all
say
ever?
this episode, though,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think was the closest to the spirit and energy of like the original National Treasure movies,
Yes,
right? Especially when
yes.
there's a public heist, right? Because they are going on an actual tour of Graceland. They're trying to hide away from the public while they find some artifact. It's got the tensions between someone finding out they're there but not disrupting the public. It's that episode out of all three of them is my favorite so far because it
But
Yeah,
does
same.
bring
I
back
it
that
like their
gets
that
knocked
soundtrack.
imagination.
down. It gets knocked down a bit because it includes a musical number.
Yes.
Yeah,
And all
that's
of a sudden,
true.
everyone's singing
Anytime
along inside
it's a
Graceland.
Disney movie, it's Disney, right? But okay, yeah. So to that, they use the same uh, score when it's happening, or the homage to the original score that dun 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 dun, is happening throughout the whole
True.
sequence, which was kind of cool. Really kind of pulls you back into that original movie. The musical number, yeah, not my favorite. But y'all ever watch the X-Files episode called The Lazarus Bowl?
Mm-mm.
So there's this episode where there's a clay pot that is supposedly being turned at the same time that Jesus is giving his Sermon on the Mount,
Mhm.
or at the same time that he's raising Lazarus.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this artifact that basically is like a record.
Right.
They find the thing and they use a laser, and it picks up the vibrations from the hay
Mhm.
that's used, and you can hear Jesus raising Lazarus in Aramaic. And so how this ties into this was I had this kind of weird vibe from this when they were playing the record backward to reveal none other than the king,
The king.
the king
It's good to be the
himself,
king.
giving the next clue.
Right.
And then,
So
like
it's
Jason said, Catherine Zeta-Jones all of a sudden has the clue, and now I'm thinking, who's the mole?
Mhm.
Liam.
You think Liam's
There's
working
always
for
got to be
Catherine
one.
Zeta-Jones?
So I think Liam is the obvious choice,
Mhm.
but I have to wonder if it's not Jess's love interest.
Hmm.
Trying to remember, was it Eric?
Yeah.
Which one is?
The
I'm
guy who
sorry. Which one's
the guy
Liam?
who didn't want her involved. Let's see. It's not Oren.
It's like was
It's
he like
Ethan.
her life? Ethan.
Ethan.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's Ethan.
Hmm.
Ethan seems right to me also.
Yeah.
Like he would do it just
To
so
protect her.
that. Yeah, exactly.
To protect her from getting deported,
Mm,
because she's
DACA
undocumented, right?
recipient. Yeah.
Just so you know,
Yes.
that may or may not be
Yes.
a plot device in a future episode.
Say.
Well, we'll have to decode that. Like D is the fourth letter, A is the first.
DACA.
So 4141, 45, 9, 10, 10 in 10 in binary. I'm just going down the Jeff Goldblum route. Sorry.
So the
Exactly.
4 and the 1 make reference to, two particular tarot cards in the major arcana, and no,
And there we go.
the
So
magician
yes,
being one, and I can't remember what the 4 is. John, what's the
I'm drawing a
4?
blank.
I think it's Emperor.
Empress Emperor. Yeah.
Maybe.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, cool. So that's pretty much it for the Masonic references in episode 3. But we did get
I
the
have to say
encoded
this, too.
message.
What do you? So as we're going through this, it kind of feels like they're peppering. They're seasoning it with some masonry, but really it's a parallel path, and masonry's kind of kicking them along down the road.
It's a MacGuffin.
Masonry's a MacGuffin.
Yeah. Yes.
A what?
A MacGuffin, like the
Infinity Stones.
right. It's just a device that carries the plot along. It's not the plot
okay.
itself. It's just something. It's a trope in filmmaking about.
Are you calling
it's
us
the
a trope?
yes.
Yes.
We're a trope.
Freemasons
We're
are the
being
trope.
used
Yes.
as a trope. Yes.
Yes. It's the suitcase
Wow.
you never see in Pulp Fiction, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. It just carries it along. That's what we're doing. But you actually see some Masonic regalia in episode 4, but we'll cover that next week.
Next week.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Brilliant. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. We're looking forward to coming back to you next week with both TMR and then episodes 4 and 5, if we can stand to watch them. I feel like we're in a Clockwork Orange where we're just like holding our eyelids open.
It's not that bad.
Not episode 4 and 5. Anything but
Oh,
episode
gosh.
4 and 5.
It's entertainment.
It is
I'm
entertainment. It's
enjoying it.
good. Yeah, yeah. It's good. It'll grow on you.
It'll grow on
Yes,
We'll
like
have
a
the box
parasite.
set next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So
you.
with
Well, great.
that, we're looking forward to bringing you more Unlocking the Treasure next week. So stay tuned, and we will see you then.